Thank you for selecting Most Love Wrestling, the place where wrestling is most loved. Now, as you all know, the IWC is crazy. Sometimes they say stuff that you will agree with, and sometimes they say stuff which is utter nonsense. But then I thought to myself, let me share with you guys the stuff that I see when I'm scrolling through TikTok and Instagram coming from the IWC. And it's going to be particularly stuff that interests me or made me laugh. So it doesn't cover all the hard-hitting topics that you'd want to know about, but it's just the first few things that I see. So keep in mind, I've seen more stuff, but this is just the stuff I saw at the time where I wanted to create the video. But before I do so, give me a like on this video, subscribe to my bullshit, and hit the notification bell. It helps with the algorithm. So if you like what I'm doing and believe that the world deserves to bear witness, then this is how you can make it happen. So first I asked AI to predict the next 10 Royal Rumble winners. 2025, John Cena. Now I see how you would arrive at that, and I would agree with you. It's the final year of him being an in-ring participant. If there was any time where you think that John Cena should win the Royal Rumble, it's now, because it's now or never, quite literally. And if it's Cody Rhodes or Gunther walking into WrestleMania as champ, then it definitely works. Both matches that would really need to happen by force at this point. And the story of chasing number 17 is something that just cannot be passed up. It would be absolutely irresponsible. Not to mention, it would be amplified, magnified tenfold with it now becoming a Road to WrestleMania story. I feel like the first 3 years make sense, then after, they're just chucking good names at us, which is fair, because who knows what the landscape of the WWE or professional wrestling in general will look like in the next 10 years. CM Punk would just be a great name to have as a Royal Rumble winner, and him and Seth Rollins both have that demon of never going last at WrestleMania to exercise. And yes, we all know it, Seth Rollins was part of the Night 1 main event at WrestleMania 40. But we all know that closing the show of Night 2 is where it's at. Paul Heyman explains why he hasn't returned yet with Roman. What I don't want to do is just be on television for the sake of being on television. Everything we do has to be relevant. That's the whole theory behind the island of relevancy. If I were to come back at SummerSlam with Roman Reigns, it wouldn't have meant anything. There was nothing for me to contribute to that moment. If I had come back last week on television with Roman Reigns, there is nothing for me to do. I could have introduced him, okay, but that's a moment, and it's not the moment that extends. It goes back to saying winning and losing matters by orders of tribal chief when I come back on television. If I come back on television. When I do, that moment is going to set up a year's worth of storyline. I will come back when it's relevant for me to come back, when I needed to come back, when I can add to Roman Reigns and not just ride his coattails and hang off his glory. I love Jimmy Hart, I really do. I have so much respect for Jimmy Hart, but I don't want to be Jimmy Hart carrying the boas for Hulk Hogan. I want to do something that contributes to the act so much that you sit there and say, I love Roman Reigns, but my God, I love him so much with the wise man, Paul Heyman. I mean, let's not front, he's right. That's the story right now. We love Roman, but my God, do we love Roman Reigns when he's with Paul Heyman? 100%. And you see what he's talking about a lot right now when you're watching Raw, SmackDown, and even NXT. Scarlett, Paul in the Ring, B-Fab, Adriana Rizzo, and believe me, I like all of these characters, and I'm glad they're getting screen time and the opportunities to get themselves over, but it can't be denied that they barely add to the people that they manage. Of course, that varies from act to act, and it's something that of course can change, but as of right now, they're just proof that Paul's right. And check this, The Miz and Maurice basically operate in the same way. When The Miz has his wife Maurice on screen with him and involved in his storyline, his whole game goes up by 10 levels. And if you don't believe that, The Miz's strongest run of his later WWE career comes from him being aligned on screen with his wife Maurice. This right here is what I need to see. This man right here is currently the best fucking professional wrestler in the world and has been for the last 20 years. I mean, look at these chops. Look at the low blow to the cranium of that jobber, Tama Tonga. Can't lace his brother's jockstrap. That's what I'm noticing. Everyone does the most of damaging. He gets his eye taken one week, obliterated by a steel chair the next. He's always the one taking all the finishes, and I'm telling you, it's because they are scared. They're terrified of what it would mean. They're terrified of the idea of Tangaloa ascending to the top of the bloodline. The strength that the bloodline would get from Tangaloa being at the helm. The real one called him, not flipping Carmelo Hayes. Tangaloa. He's the one who doesn't miss. Well, actually, he does, but that's not even the point. Roman Reigns, I acknowledge you as my tribal chief outside of Nia Jax, but let's face the facts. Real recognize real. You took out Tangaloa because you were scared. You were scared, Roman. Okay, that's enough putting over Tangaloa for about a week. This is my utility! It looks like an AEW background, but do it. I'm down for this. It's been teased for like a year low-key, and at this point it would be a complete felony for you to not pay this off. Rhea Ripley reveals an insane total amount of bracelets she collected. 71. I repeat, 71 bloody bracelets. Wild. I mean, I'm not surprised really. When I hear and see Rhea Ripley in real life, She seems like a brilliant person. I saw a video that must have been after the whole collecting bracelet thing, and I swear she was hugging that fan, some little girl, for about 30 seconds. Not a lot of celebrities are going to dedicate that to their fans, especially when the security are stopping that little girl from getting through and she's the one to call them off. But she gave this child a long ass hug, and that's going to be a moment which is going to live on forever in the head of that child. That little girl is probably going to go on to become a professional wrestler in her own right. She might even be main event in WrestleMania 55. We don't know. But it was beautiful to see a celebrity taking the time out for their fans like that to give them a proper embrace. But then I ordered my bracelet creating equipment immediately. And believe you me, there is a long list of bracelets that I'm creating as we speak. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. Now, but all jokes aside, I always hear about how great Rhea is as a person. But if one day I can leave this world knowing that I touched a minimum of 71 people in a positive way, I would be super proud of myself. Real talk. I mean, think about all the people that did not attend that event that feel the same way as that little girl and the other 70 people that gave out bracelets to Rhea Ripley. God knows how many other people that she's touched in a positive way. And it's always been the mission, it's always going to be the mission. Try and leave this world a better place than it was when you came into it. Good shit, Rhea, honestly. Big Show entrance theme. Well, Big Show sang that as we all know it. Like, I'm convinced the Big Show sang this song till this day. I refuse to believe anything else, so much so that I'm willing to square up over it. Rhea Ripley thinks next meeting with Bianca Belair should be at WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley thinks her next meeting with Bianca Belair deserves a big stage. I think that if we were to step in the ring together again, I think it would have to be WrestleMania worthy. And this came via WrestleBinge. Listen, absolutely. And I'd go a step further, and I would say that it's the only way that the woman can currently main event night 2 of WrestleMania without the use of Charlotte Flair. This is 110% the biggest matchup in their division. Right now they've been separated, and there are other things that we need them to do before they get back together. We want Rhea to fuck up Liv and get back the World Women's strap. Well, I'm not actually sure that I want that, but it must happen for the good of the division and the company. And we want Bianca Belair to finish babysitting and uplifting our resident superheroine, Jade Cargill, and then whip her ass. Don't forget that part. That's important. Then and only then can we get back to the collision of Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, the two people that are on the 2K24 game case. Do you think that they're there for nothing? No. No way. They're there because they're the current women's rosters, Rock and Austin, and you should try not to forget that. MJF says the next kid Will Ospreay's wife has won't be his. Yeah, MJF is a real villain, man. Damn, 100,000 isn't enough. I'm gonna tell you from now, I'm definitely with Will on this one. And I also echo Bryan Danielson. You know what to do. Do it. He's talking about the Tiger Driver 97. And the man's talking about your family. Listen, drop this man on his head and take his fucking soul. Can't have the man talking about your woman like that. Talking like he's fucking crazy. I would have did and said exactly what Will Ospreay did and said in that ring, and I would do exactly what Bryan Danielson is telling me to do at All In, which I must add, I am attending live. But hell yeah, I am dropping that bitch on his head and neck for sure. And MJF is my dude, by the way. I'm just always objective when I'm looking at storylines. Top selling t-shirt on WWE shop, August 6th. I mean, yeah, this list makes sense. The Yeet thing has really gotten out of control. I mean, that shit should have really been dead and buried about 5 years ago or something like that. But little brother Jay stepped up and he revived it. And I'm talking so much so that it's basically monopolized the top 10 merch list with 4 spaces. I mean, where's LA Knight gone? LA Knight used to be on here dominating too, if I remember a few months ago, the last time I checked. And yeah, the NWO definitely makes sense to me. I myself most recently just purchased the NWO t-shirt. And on that note, let's just take a second to, acknowledge our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, but also the fact that the NWO are still second place in 2024. That shit is wild. Like, you've literally got no choice but to admit just how iconic the NWO really were. When your kid asks you to help them beat the final boss, well, I'm gonna tell you, if my kid is stupid enough to piss off The Rock, then that's on him. You saw what he did to Cody. I mean, do you really want that for yourself? The Rock got you all up in the rain, your shirt all ripped, you're all getting draped up by him, he's telling you, look at you now! And then you want me to join you in that beating? No, I'm telling you, the kid's on his own, I'm telling you. But as it pertains to video games, yeah, this is literally how it is. Then they end up just passing you the remote, wanting you to beat the level for them. These times, you've never played the game before. As a matter of fact, you're not even a gamer really at all. So you're just as, or even more whatless than they are in the situation. But just be glad that they look at you as some kind of hero right now, because one day, that will be all over. Why Becky Lynch had to hide wrestling from her mother. After taking my year of college, I ended up living back with my mum going, what's your plan? What are you gonna do? Are you going back to college? Get a real job. What are you gonna do? The women weren't treated as athletes and stars as we are today. There was still a lot of, pillow fights and all that kind of jazz, and bra and panties matches. They weren't really taken seriously. Nobody was eyeballing them to main event. I couldn't say, well, that's what I wanted to do on TV. What I was looking at, what I wanted to do were these obscured promotions in Japan where the women were better than any man that I'd ever seen. They were kicking the shit out of each other. But I also couldn't show my mom that, Becky Lynch, on why she had to hide her wrestling ambitions from her mother. Yeah, I get that absolutely. In no fucking realm was my child, my gal Pickney specifically, coming to tell me that she wanted to go do WWE back in the era of Vince McMahon and his head-shitting colleagues. You're not just going to come to my face and boldly tell me that you're going to go out there and expose yourself and allow these people to exploit you. Bra and panties matches, these paddle matches, lingerie matches, all of that. No fucking way. Not my daughter. No way. She would definitely have to hide that from me, just like Becky did. I can see why Vince McMahon felt the need to put that into the show, to capitalize on these horny teenagers, horny men in general. But didn't nobody want to see that over proper women's wrestling? When I was like, from the ages of 8 to 15, I thought that Victoria, Mickie James and Angelina Love were God's gift to mankind. But these were also people that were trying to be true wrestlers, that were trying to put on banger matches as soon as you gave them the opportunities to do so, which is why I liked TNA and felt like it was unique, because it had WWE styled wrestling without all these dumb gimmick matches for women. And even when you fast forward to today, the women are still receiving all that male attention that they would receive back in that day. But what do you know? They're having normal matches and banger ones too. But let's be honest, that whole time period in the WWE was a show based on self-serving. Them shows were not booked for our entertainment in the slightest. It was definitely all for Vince McMahon. But back to Becky, I agree with her mum again. I am not willing to watch my daughter get mutilated in Japan either. Claudio Castagnoli got 20 rotations in Giant Swing versus Kazuchika Okada. Yes, exactly. One swing for every minute the match lasted. But isn't continental title matches supposed to have a 30-minute time limit? Is this a plot hole, or have I just lost it? Am I a jackass? Seth Rollins signed with the WWE 14 years ago today. You know, it's crazy how time flies. I remember these guys coming up and me back then just dreaming about the times that we're in now, with the Shield being the top guys in the industry. And here we are. Seth Rollins is in that Randy Orton kind of position. Should be spoke about more in the GOATS conversation, but rarely is. But don't worry, Seth, you too, Randy. I have got you. I recognize your body of work, even if these no good scumbags do not. Speaking of Randy, Randy deserves a final run as WWE World Champion. Agree or disagree? I mean, I absolutely agree. I just disagree that it should be right now over the ring General Gunther. He needs to get his ass whooped in Berlin, but just let him whoop Cody. I really don't see what the problem would be there. Please tell me, how else is Cody Rhodes' reign ending? At this point, if it's not The Rock, which I don't think it is, Cody needs to drop the strap to either Randy Orton or John Cena. And I swear to God, I didn't do these last three on purpose, but it's a cool transition. I guess I'm just a natural at this. But yeah, Cody Rhodes is the only surviving champion from WrestleMania 40, at least on the main roster. And I just answered my feelings about this post in the previous post. You were one of 4. I've always been one of 1. Facts. What can I say? And here's a fun fact. I don't really like Mercedes Moné or Camille Brickhouse, and I want Britt Baker to whoop her shit and take the TBS Championship at All In. And I'm going to be there to celebrate it happening. Me and my friend Joe, and I've never been to a wrestling show before, and I choose something big like All In. I'm gonna lose my virginity to AEW. That is crazy. Liv Morgan is just out of control for this team. She literally brought a new meaning to putting your ops on a t-shirt. Stu Bennett official. I told at American Nightmare Cody, you are the WWE champion and the #1 wrestler on the planet. All of your dreams have come true. His response? Not quite all, Wade. I still need to see PNE FC official promoted to the Premier League. I call bullshit. That is definitely manufactured words. Whether it came from the lips of Cody Rhodes or not, I'm telling you, manufactured words. My brother, my eldest brother, was born in Preston, and not even him, not anybody in the family could give a royal fuck about Preston Football Club. Not one of us. And we're all British. And now you're going to try to sit there and convince me that someone that would rather call the game soccer could give a fuck about what happens to Preston Football Club. They want to see them hit Prem. Bullshit. Let me tell you something. Off is the direction in which you can fuck, and do not insult my intelligence, my friend. But that is all I got for you today. Thank you for listening to my bullshit. Don't forget to leave a like. Remember to subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comment section.